Hello everyone, my name is Coco and today I'm going to talk about rhetorical fallacy. Fallacies are common errors in reasoning that will undermine the logic of your arguments. And rhetorical fallacies are errors and manipulation of rhetoric and logical thinking. In today's talk, I'll focus on the rhetorical fallacy called biased generalizing. Biased generalizing is when a conclusion about population is drawn from a sample that is biased, prejudiced, or falsely representative, or they are chosen in order to make it appear the population on average is different than it actually is. So, biased generalizing fallacy is also known as biased statistics, loaded sample, or prejudiced sample, etc. And here is the logical formula. Sample S, which is biased, is taken from population P. Conclusion C is drawn about population P based on S. And this is different from the hasty generalization fallacy, where the biased sample is specifically chosen from a selected group, and the small sample is just a random sample, but too small to get any accurate information. Now I'm going to provide 3 examples to give you a clearer picture of biased generalizing fallacy. For example, I've heard the story that a pastor claims that people are turning to God everywhere. 9 out of 10 people I interviewed say that they had a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Well, and then the man heard this and surprisingly asked the pastor, "Where did you find these people you interviewed?" And the pastor said, "Well, in my church." So in this story, the pastor has drawn a conclusion about religious belief from people everywhere, based on people he has interviewed in his church. The population of this investigation is all human beings, but the sample the pastor chooses is only people from his own church who might already believe in God. So this is obviously a fallacy. It's just like concluding that the world likes to dance naked in front of strangers after interviewing a group of strippers. Now I'm going to provide a second example. According to the statistic conducted by the Ministry of Health and Welfare in Taiwan, in 2014, there are 1,698 Taiwanese people are infected with HIV, and if analyzing the group based on the gender sexual orientation, heterosexual men accounts for 18.09%, while homosexual and bisexual men account for 79.44%, and women account for 2.47%. This investigation seems to prove the long-lasting misconception that gay people are highly related to AIDS. However, this investigation is not that trustworthy. I think it falls into the biased generalizing fallacy. Although the number shows that gay people have higher rate of being infected, but the sample is not that objective. Because gay people, or I should say people who conducted same-sex intercourse, generally have higher awareness of AIDS, so they tend to have regular tests on HIV tests. And heterosexual people are relatively have lower understanding toward AIDS, so they are less possible to actively undergo the HIV test. The fallacy comes from that the population of statistics is all human beings and the sample is people who are tested to be an HIV positive. The people who undergo the test are mostly gay or people who conducted same-sex sexual intercourse. So the result must be like the statistic number I just mentioned. Gay people accounts for the highest rate. But if we think deeper, we'll find out that the cause of AIDS infection is through dangerous behavior such as unsafe sex, not through certain dangerous people. The third example is from my personal experience. I remember that once a sophomore student warned me do not take Professor Pong's courses. I have spoke to three classmates who was in his class, and they all say you should avoid taking his courses at all costs, and they all end up failed his course. However, though he told me that I occasionally join in Professor Peng's class and I really enjoy his lecture and also scored high. I started to think about what the sophomore student had told me, and thinking back from now, maybe he falls into the bias generalizing fallacy. The population of his interview is all students at school, and the sample are the 3 students he talks to. This sample is biased because it includes only people who failed his class. The students are more likely to be negative toward him than the general students. And this could be also considered a hasty generalization because the number in the sample is too small. And after listening to these 3 examples, I would like to conclude that nowadays people seem to be more fascinated about statistical numbers. There is no denying that statistic number is relatively a reliable information. However, sometimes numbers will lie to you. So we have to be very aware of statistics and look clearly at the sources and details, such as samples and populations of studies which produced the statistics, and we have to avoid falling into the bias generalizing fallacy. And this is the end of my talk. Thank you.